Hey there. Today the moon is in Cancer, which is great for self-care, getting cozy, feeling your feelings. It's that perfect time to think about what nurtures you deeply. But today, I really want to talk a little bit more about some of the bigger picture energies that are going on. And what I try to do here for you is take all of the things that we could spend hours and hours talking about and condense them down to help you take the nuggets that are going to be the most helpful in navigating your life, the awareness that might help you make decisions or just feel better about what's going on, and just to stay grounded and to remember what's important for you. So let's talk today about some of these bigger picture things that are going on. We are heading into eclipse season. Mercury will be going retrograde as we get to the end of the month, so around April 1st. So we got a couple more weeks before that. We also have a big planetary alignment coming up in April, the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. So I want to kind of give you sort of some broad strokes of where we're at and what that feels like right now as we head into some of these things. I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro Vibe for Sunday, March 17th, the day of the St. Patrick, the day that we think about what's green, right? And that has to do with life springing forth in the world. Of course, we're talking about the northern hemisphere, but the vibe that the seasons have aligning with the zodiac are what really gives the vibe to the zodiac signs. So we can still think about these qualities connected to the time of year and the astrological signs that have to do with springtime, right? So Aries has to do with spring. It has to do with things growing, plants emerging from the ground, babies in nature, right? And so it's this energy of new growth. It also has this feeling of renewal, of rebirth, of life force energy. So coming into and beginning kind of a new growing season, right? So that can be literally in the physical world, the growing season, but also growing season in terms of our experience and our own personal path, right? Our journey of creativity and discovery. So whether you live in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere, these qualities are still present. So the qualities of growth, of emergence, of life force energy, they go back to, originally the connection with the seasons, but these qualities are present now. So we're in the moon cycle that began with the Pisces new moon. And if you've been following me every day, we've been talking about how that moon cycle unfolds. So the energy of dealing with things that are bigger picture, our needs for spiritual connection, our needs for listening to our hearts, feeling that sense of belonging and finding meaning in the world, what gives that meaning to our lives. So connecting with our hearts and our heart's truth to remember why we're here. Why are we doing these things, right? Why bother? There is a bigger picture. And so connecting with what that bigger picture is for you and what feels important. What is your reason, right? For going on, but also for imagining a future and stepping into creative possibility and helping yourself to step into your highest potential so that you can contribute to that um, ultimate, eventual creative expression. So as this moon cycle unfolds, that began with the new moon in Pisces, And we have this Piscean energy where we're in this letting go space. So you might notice things coming up that need to be let go. There's, that cleaning out your closet time of year, but there's also this grief process that we may be going through. So just notice how that might be showing up for you, whether you are having to maybe let go of old parts of yourself, old ways of knowing, old ways of understanding, because in the process of letting go of some of those things that have defined you in the past, you are also creating space to step into new ways of being. So the rebirth that comes with the Aries sun that will be coming later this month. And then, of course, the Aries new moon, which this year is a solar eclipse. So, but before that solar eclipse in Aries, which will be in April, we have the upcoming lunar eclipse in Libra. And so that's in about a week. So the lunar eclipse in Libra is helping to reveal something, helping us to see something we couldn't see, helping to illuminate something that is relating back to our new moon qualities, our new intentions, the themes that are showing up for you around this moon cycle. So, as we head into the Libra full moon, we're continuing to do this work on connecting with what is that bigger picture of meaning? Where do we need to let go or grieve or release things that have served us in the past, just the way that you might find things in your closet that were once useful, right? But right now they're getting dusty and taking up space. So sometimes it's hard to let go of the things that we're attached to, but doing so clears the space so that we can use that space in our closet to bring in new identities, new possibility, new things to try, new ways to express ourselves. So, as we are letting go, feeling maybe some of the feelings connected to that release, maybe some of it showing up in your dreams. Pisces relates to dreams as well. So, that feeling of being in the flow and processing things at this less tangible level, right? So processing things in our dreams is a way of uh, shifting our feelings and processing things without it necessarily being a tangible moving of a thing from point A to point B, right? So dreams are very fluid. They are very dealing with a level of energy. So you might be noticing things shifting in your dreams. You might be feeling some infusion of spiritual energy showing up in your life, and you might be consciously working with that, whether that has to do with a practice you do, yoga, meditation, music, or just time spent in nature, time spent in your garden, time spent listening to the birds. So all of those things are helping you connect with that bigger picture that makes you feel connected in intangible ways. You can't necessarily take it to the bank, but it's life impacting, right? So so connecting with that, like what is beauty? What is meaning and truth and things that open our hearts? Um, and and now, as we are heading into this full moon lunar eclipse in Libra, we are also discovering how this might show up in the ways that we connect with others. So relationships, partnerships, ways of working together, ways of bringing about balance, and finding common ground and working collaboratively with others. And that is what Libra brings to the table. So Libra reminds us that it's not just about us and that we do this together. We co-create with other individuals, whether it's a romantic partner or a friend or a coworker or somebody you just happen to encounter through your day. It is that experience of not being alone, right? That experience of it's not just about me, it's about you and me. And then seeing how, in that experience of partnership, of relationship, of there being more than one perspective, then we can see how that is connected to this bigger picture of opening to our heart's truth, to what brings meaning to our lives. So in other words, the energy of the upcoming eclipse is going to, the lunar eclipse in Libra, is going to have to do with how this bigger picture of meaning with connecting with our heart's truth and the flow of love can be facilitated, can be enhanced, can be made real by the experience of connection with another person. So maybe it can unfold in a conversation that you have, or the experience of sharing an experience with someone else, with doing something together, whether you're working on something together or you're just, I don't know, making dinner together, right? Or maybe something that you are working on with another person or a group of people. So there's something about that experience of working together collaboratively that is going to open your eyes to that bigger picture of meaning, to why you're here, to what you're doing, and how it is in the flow of a bigger picture of truth and beauty and meaning. And dare we say love, right? Love, love is that bigger picture of unity. That is very intangible, but also very real. So, what does love look like? How is love showing up? How does the experience of having another person in your life in a variety, different ways, variety of different ways, whether that's a romantic experience or even if it's somebody you don't get along with, it's the experience of what is this thing of it not being just about me. So that's what we're doing, and that's what we can look for as we head into this lunar eclipse. Eclipses, of course, are a regular new moon or full moon, right? There's that energy there. But when it's an eclipse, there's even more close alignment of the Earth, the moon, and the sun during an eclipse because in the case of a lunar eclipse, the moon is on the opposite side of the Earth from the sun and moon are on the opposite sides of the Earth, right? And so the Earth's shadow can be cast across the moon, and we see that as a lunar eclipse. So they have to be lined up in the same plane, the Earth, the moon, and the sun. So not only are they in a line, but they're also falling in enough in the same plane to cast a shadow. In the case of a lunar eclipse, the Earth's shadow on the moon. In the case of a solar eclipse, of course, it has to do with the moon passing between the Earth and the sun to temporarily block the light of the sun, right? That can only happen if everything is in a line, the Earth, moon, and sun all aligned. So that alignment energetically opens a kind of a portal, a possibility of shift, of things that could be changing in ways that you couldn't see before. We talk a lot here about change, and with Pluto in Aquarius, there's a lot of change going on. We are moving into the energy of change more fully. Things might feel more unstable, unpredictable, And so that energy of, being in a lightning storm is like you don't know where the next bolt of lightning is going to come from. But at the same time, it's bringing new ideas. So the same energy that brings a shakeup of something that could be very destabilizing, like an earthquake or a lightning bolt, that same energy is the energy that brings insight, inspiration, epiphanies, breakthroughs, freedom, breaking free of the constraints of the past. So it really is the same energy that allows us to envision and imagine and experience real shift. So real infusions of new possibility, that opening to potential. So to harness that energy in a creative and positive way, we can be staying aligned with our intentions. And so I talk here a lot about working with intentions and the evolving moon cycle, how the moon cycle supports us to discover more of what we're capable of. So with the setting of our intentions on the new moon and then having something reflected back to us on the full moon, we have this in breath and out breath as we cycle through the moon cycles. And we have the waxing and the waning. We have the output of energy and the receiving of the results. So we're continually doing that with the moon cycle. And as we think about this earthquake lightning bolt energy, which is Pluto in Aquarius, and Pluto is the planet of power. What I looked up the etymology of the word power because there's so much charge to that word, right? Power can mean somebody having power over someone else. It can also mean having the power to achieve the things that you want. And I really like to think of the word power from it comes from an old word that means potential, right? And so potency, ability, the ability to have something, to create something or generate some results, or the just ability, right? So when we feel that potential of our own ability, that is how we step into our power to create really cool things, whatever it is that you're aligning with, because it gives meaning to your life. So, I think this is much more powerful to do if you are focused again on the qualities that really help you feel good about yourself, making a difference for humanity, healing, growth, discovery, stepping into new possibilities rather than the limitations of old thinking and feeling like we are not, like we're victims, right? Or like we're not able to have any influence on the experience that we have. So it's not about like magically, manifesting the, oh, if I just think hard enough, if I just think positive, everything will be perfect. It's not like that. It's really about learning who we are, walking through this journey and having the adventures that we're here to have in this life, and how we rise to those adventures, right? What we learn from them, how we view our experience. So the perspective and the lens that we are coming from is huge in terms of that experience. So potential, power, potency, opening to new possibilities, stepping into our highest potential, these are all part of that process. And the way that the eclipses, the upcoming eclipses, can support us in that is simply by remembering our intentions, stating our intentions, giving ourselves time to think about our intentions. That is self-care. Self-care is giving yourself seeing it as important to take time to connect with what gives meaning to your life, what feels important and positive and meaningful. It doesn't mean you can change everybody's mind or you can fix all the problems of the world. It means that you are becoming the best you can to be the best possible participant in shaping this world that we can create together. So you being your best self, me being my best self, all of us being our best selves together, or at least some number of us doing that, right, is going to make a difference. And really, there's so many things in history we can look back to that show us that it is really the lack of action, the lack of a willingness to believe, the lack of having any kind of positive thinking or visioning of the future or caring about what's happening or what difference we might be able to make in that. It's the lack of those things that take us backwards. So in order to move forwards, all we have to do is step into what we are learning, becoming aware, noticing our own patterns, being willing to go with the flow, which is very much the energy of this Pisces moon, letting go, releasing the past, clearing out our closets of those dusty old clothes that once served us, but aren't really there for who we're becoming. And all of that creates space for what we can create. Okay, so that brings me to, and I'm going to try not to go on forever here, but that brings me back to the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that is coming up on April 20th. So Jupiter and Uranus has about a 14-year cycle from one conjunction to the next conjunction. So again, it's like the moon cycle, but just much bigger. So when we have Jupiter and Uranus coming together, there is a seed being planted related to those two planets and what they represent. Jupiter represents growth, expansion, abundance, allowing ourselves to learn, grow, expand, become more and bigger than we have before. On the negative side, it can have to do with overindulgence or excess or not knowing the limits. But when we use that energy positively, it has to do with expansion into that highest potential. And the planet Uranus is connected to Aquarian energy. So Uranus is the modern ruler of Aquarius. It's about shakeup, change, seeing things in new and different ways, breakthrough, freedom, breaking free of old constructs. And that energy of Uranus being in Taurus, we are shaking up our routines. So Taurus is about the earth. It is about predictability. It is about what is considered what we see as normal because it's there every day. Things that are always there feel very normal. We can always know what to expect. It all makes sense. That is very Taurus. Taurus is the rhythms of nature. It is the rhythms of the earth. It is our connection to the earth through our senses. It is how we experience beauty. It is how we work with the natural rhythms of life. So when the planet Uranus, which is the planet of shakeup, of change, lightning bolts, earthquakes, goes into that sign of Taurus, which it has been, it's not, I'm not, don't have the year right at the tip of my brain right now, but it's been in Taurus for some years now, several years. And that energy of Uranus and Taurus is bringing shakeup and change to our normal. Okay, this is like a background theme of where we're at. And this experience of Uranus being in Taurus is opening us to new possibilities of what could be normal going forward. So on the one hand, it's very destabilizing, can leave us feeling like we don't know how things work. But on the other hand, it is also bringing in the energy of new possibility, of breaking free of our old limitations. This is also going on with Pluto in Aquarius, but Uranus in Taurus is specifically about what we see as normal. And so we're seeing and really seeing what is normal changing. And that is, so Uranus is in a sign for about 7 years. And it's going to be going into Gemini, into the next sign in the next year, 2025, sometime in 2025. So we've got this energy of shakeup to our normal. Now, what's happening on April 20th of 2024 is that the planet of growth and expansion and abundance is joining Uranus in Taurus, which is shaking up our experience of normal. And so it brings it expands us into new possibilities, new territory, opening us to shift, to change, to growth, specifically to shifts in consciousness, right? What we perceive as reality changing. So again, coming back to and grounding this in our intentions. What's important? What do we want? What do we want to align with? How do we stand for the things that are important to us? How do we live that in our lives? And some of it has to do with self-care. Some of it has to do with healing ourselves and doing our mind, body, spirit, and emotional healing process so that we're moving forward and evolving to into the creation of the things we want to see unfold as we step into our highest potential. So, okay, so that's a lot, but we have 2 eclipses. We're heading into a Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. We have Mercury going retrograde on April 1st. And so the nutshell, and I said I would try to kind of condense it all down for you, right? But I think the nutshell is stay true to who you are. Let yourself go with the flow. Recognize that there will be shift. There will be change. It is okay. It is supposed to be happening. You can trust yourself in this process. You can trust your own guidance, your own inner wisdom, your own knowing of what is the truth for you, and staying true to that. And so even though you're going to find yourself in places and maybe situations that don't feel comfortable, don't, like you used to know how it worked and it doesn't work that way anymore. So what do we do? Come back into yourself, affirm what's important to you and why, and open your mind, because those epiphanies could be there waiting to occur to you about what to do next, right? So it's really about opening to the bigger picture of what may not have occurred to us yet, but we are creating through putting these things in motion, through our ways of caring for ourselves, our ways of thinking about our lives and taking care of ourselves in the context of where we're at, right? Wherever you're at is okay. And so letting yourself come present with whatever's happening right now will allow you that space to have the next clarity emerge for you. And sometimes we have to feel the hard things. Sometimes we have to move through things that we don't know how to do. But ultimately, trusting yourself is going to help you unfold into what you're capable of. All right. Thank you so much for sticking with me here till the end. That was a lot. You probably need to go take a nap now, but that is really trying to condense down some of the energies that we're dealing with. It's really not any different or any more like bigger or more significant than all the other times of our lives. It's just this is what it looks like now, right? So the planets give us all this amazing information about the qualities we're in and why things feel the way they feel, because ultimately they are inviting us to grow, to evolve, and to heal ourselves, to take care of ourselves. So that self-care is so important, and why I do this, right? Astrology for unshakable self-care. So I am Marina Orms. Thank you so much for being here. If you're interested in this, you may want to check out my books. I have a book called Astrology Heals and another one called Cycles of Healing. Both talk about the foundations to give you a little more of a sense of how I got at some of these ideas that I'm sharing with you. And I thank you so much for your support. All of your comments, your likes, shares, all of that helps support my work. Subscribing to this channel is free and is very helpful. So I appreciate that. Thank you again for being here. If you are interested in contributing to this work, super thanks is available on YouTube. You can make a donation there. Thank you so much again for being here. And Marina Orms, Astrology Heals is my website, and I'll see you next time. We'll be heading into the Libra Lunar Eclipse. All right. See you next time. Bye.